into USL Live and the Unified Skirmish League Season 55 preview show. I'm your host, Romulocks, and today's show is about looking ahead at the coming season, breaking down the competition that we can expect to see in Season 55. To assist me in accomplishing that, I am joined in the commentary booth by my esteemed guests and the majority of the cast of USL Live for Season 55. First up, we have the captain of K's crew and the host of USL After Dark, Kevin.
Ahoy.
We have the co-captain of Click and the head referee, Bowen.
What up?
And we have the co-captain of Monkey Business, former league administrator and current league advisor, Eric.
Ni hao.
Welcome to all of you guys. First up, we're going to quickly do a rundown of tonight's show. The panel is going to discuss the squads currently signed up to play in Season 55. We're going to analyze the rosters, take a look at standout players, discuss potential lineups for each team. Following that discussion, we're going to rank order these teams 1 through 6. We do indeed have 6 squads, and take the average score from each of our votes to create the USL Live Season 55 Power Rankings. Then we will look ahead to Week 1 of the season and do our best to predict how those games are going to unfold. But before we get into that, we want to talk about Season 55 and what players can anticipate to see with respect to the format of the regular season games as well as going into playoffs. And to make all those announcements, I'm going to turn to our head referee, Bowen, who's been tapped by our league administrator, Fausto, to relay all that important information about the season. Want to say thank you to Fausto before we start here. I know he is busy with his 2-month-old, so he could not be here tonight, but he was earlier. So we'll throw it over here to Bowen. Bowen, thanks for agreeing to break all this down.
Yeah, no worries. So a couple things that I also want to throw out there and have everybody just know. Important stuff first. I will say that there's no class changes this season, no rule changes this season. We kind of want to have everything a little static for once. Maybe give it a couple seasons to kind of marinate, let it sit. And then we will go from there next season into what we can change and what we can tweak and stuff like that. So no changes, anything major coming up for that level. But also wanted to relay a big thank you to each squad and their respective captains and the ones that have been extremely responsive in the roundtable. Kind of got this all together last minute today for all the things we're going through today. So great job and thank you for that. He said thank you to all head staff members, including Eric, for being very attentive in this off season. And thanks for all the time you guys put in, especially here last few days trying to get some stuff together.
Absolutely.
Thanks to Romulocks and coming back, taking over USL Live and being the voice of USL once again. He thanked me and Victim for our assistance on head staff. I think it's weird thanking myself, but I did.
Thanks to yourself.
Yeah, thank me. And and thank you to PHCL. Special thank you to this squad. They got in for a last second squad, so thank you to that dude and you guys for throwing this thing together and really getting that 6th squad and actually get some SBs in and showing you can be active. So that was great.
So we have a 6th squad, PHCL. Thanks to Bax and crew for putting that together on very short notice. Let's see here. Let's go first and talk about map choices and how many weeks this season. Tell us about that.
Yep. So we got 4 maps. The maps will be pulled up again. Twin Fields, Kaiser Pass, Morgan Base, and Y Station in that order. So week 1 and 5 will be Twin Fields, 2 and 6 will be Kaiser Pass, 3 and 7 will be Morgan Base, and 4 and 8 will be Y Station. So that gives us an 8-week season. Double headers every week except for weeks 4 and 8. Those will be single matches. So double headers will be 2 squads having double headers. 2
squads have a double header each week. Okay, that's what I was going to clarify.
Yep.
And as you said, no rule changes, no class changes. We're going to, as you said, let it marinate. It's going to be kind of a predictable season the way we've done it in the past seasons. Is that right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay. As far as postseason, any information on that, how that's going to work?
Not a lot yet. It will be the top 4. We'll get in for this one, so sort of a classic. It'll be 3 versus 3s for the championship seeding side of selection as well. So normal setup for that. Same thing as last season. We did pretty much.
Okay. Well, I guess more will be announced.
And we'll talk about maps and such.
Yeah, as we move along.
Yeah,
sure.
More coming later.
Again, as Bowen already said, there's been a lot of thought and consideration that's already gone into preparing for this league to be a success. Want to make sure we extend our appreciation for the efforts of the staff in making that possible. Thank you to the referees ahead of time. This is a big labor of love for a lot of people to put this much time in on the back end, and just want to say thank you to everybody for giving your time up to do that. But without further ado, let's talk about the squads in season 55. Rosters are accurate as of January 5th, 2026 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Going in alphabetical order, we're going to start with Click. Your roster for the squad Click is Bowen, Brillhart, Cannibal, Devil Dog, Dracolich, Fly Molo, Cal, Llama in a Zoo, Lucifer, Spark, Suicider, Trax, Under Par, and Witch. Let's talk however you want to break it down. Let's talk about projected lineups. Who's going to be leading? Who do you think is the deadliest? What do you see happening with Click? Let's go to Kevin first.
Yeah, so I just did a little breakdown of all the squads. So Click, captain by Molo. It's definitely interesting dynamic with what they have. Aside from Brillhart, I think everybody on the roster has less than 65 games played total. I know Bowen has about 61, so I'll throw Bowen in there too. But everybody else is pretty fresh and brand new with maybe 30 games under their belts. I think where they're going to shine is definitely their vocal leadership. I know Molo speaks a lot. Bowen, Draco, they're going to give their presence and let it be known. I think they're lacking a little bit of cohesion right now. It's not quite there yet. But I know with Molo's little creative little ambushes that he has, I think they'll be pretty good in no time. And right now, I've got Click finishing in 5th place. Can they get an upset? Probably not on paper, but probably doesn't mean impossible. So we'll see what happens with Click this season.
Sure, Bowen.
Yeah. So top lineup for me for these guys, there's one slot that's kind of interchangeable depending on who shows and who is even active. So Molo, Brillhart, Draco, Lucifer, Suicider, Bowen, Devil Dog, and that last spot could go to Cannibal, Cal, or Spark. There's a throw up there for that last spot, depending on what's needed. But Spark has had a major improvement on Marine here and recently, so I have a lot to say. Hopefully, to see him take off. But there's a lot of what ifs and some guys who could still step in that slot. So I've got them finishing 4th, but it's a tight spot. So.
Eric?
All right. Well, quick, aka Molo's Misfits. I'm gonna disagree with Kevin and say they have a lot of vocal leadership. I got the NT for them for the first time last night, and actually, it was a lot of Molo and then a lot of me and Split who NT'd talking for these guys, and I've SB'd against these guys quite a bit. And any group that doesn't have Molo looks lost. So he really needs somebody to step up and kind of help shot call that second group. There have been plenty of SBs where he's over half the team's kills and everybody else is kind of getting dragged along. So he's really going to need this lineup to step up. My projected lineup for these guys is Brill, Molo, Lucifer Med, and either Cal or DD as a second Med. Cannibal if he didn't quit. Bowen, Draco, and Llama or Spark. I'll give my ranking later on when we do the power rankings.
Sure. I agree. I hear what you're saying, Eric, on you're going to need some assistance from somebody. I don't know how active Devil Dog has been, but I'd like to see him get in there. Draco is a very capable Marine on this lineup that could step up and do some work. I also like Cal and Spark as somebody that you're not really expecting a ton from, who could end up, bringing it to the table for this team in quite a big way. I'm interested to see what Bowen has said about Spark having massive improvement. That's the kind of thing this squad's going to need. In terms of a lineup, I like Bowen, Brill, Devil Dog, Draco, Molo, Lucifer, Cal, Spark. I like those guys on there. You've got a lot of inactive people or people, as Eric has just alluded to, that may kind of be in and out. Cannibal, for example. You're going to need some activity from these guys, that's for sure. Leading the squad, Molo. It'd be interesting to see if Darth becomes more available as the season goes on or gets involved in that. Deadliest member, I think, is clearly Molo, but Draco and Brill can definitely put up some big numbers. I think your X factor on here is kind of a twofer. I think Under Par. We'll see. We'll see if he comes and plays. He could be a huge part of the squad if he's active at all. And then Llama. Llama has stepped up in past seasons. He's been on a course for improvement. I thought last season was a little bit of a step back for him, but I'd like to see this season we move forward and get back on track there. And then Suicider as well. I definitely think he's. I thought he's improved over time the more I've seen him, and I'd like to see him take a pretty active role in this roster and definitely get some playtime here. We'll talk about.
If I could, Rom,
Sure.
real quick. Since you mentioned Parr, I'm not sure how active he's going to be, but going back to the whole secondary leadership, Parr would be a phenomenal second shot caller.
Yes.
Probably one of the best SOE leaders in
the
past
game
history, the Plumber era. So having him active, the skill might not be there, but the shot calling will be. And like I said, I think that would definitely help Mola a lot.
Yes, I completely agree, and I think that's why I call him the X Factor, because if he's there, you have options. Without him, you're kind of stuck at Molo and just trying to figure it out with the rest. Gentlemen is the next squad. Roster right now is CC, Champion, Colossal, Dilatory, Hard, aka Pister, Havoc, Iron, Revenge, Soul, Sov, and the Mountain. Kevin?
Yes, we have Gentleman, captained by Pister, probably the most stacked squad in the league, outside of Dilatory, Revenge, and Soul, who probably aren't going to be starters. Every player has 75 plus games under their belt, so pretty veteran heavy in that aspect compared to Click. Click had one guy with over 75 games. In my opinion, they have the top 3 best players in the league. They have the top 2 best medics in the league. I don't see how that's not stacking, but that's their friends, so they like to play with each other. Giggity. But just playing with them, I NC with them a lot. They have the 2 best medics, Havoc and Iron. It's pretty easy to play with them if you're on their team. You can go out there, know you're not going to die. You can take so much damage and not have to rely on them. Like, where are they? They're right behind you all the time. This season, I'm expecting Colossal and Champion to have massive killing seasons. I see Mountain having a huge role, playing that support Marine, where he's doing the flanking, he's doing the 1v1ing, whoever's coming around on their other team's flank. So I like to see those 3 playing really well. And I'm just happy that we won't be hearing the question of who's going to sit for Split, or is Split playing. So finally, they look like they fine-tuned their roster. If everybody shows, I think they have a pretty on paper place where they'll be in first place this season. I don't see them losing a match if everybody shows. I see them being in first place. What is it? 8-0, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just Gentlemen.
Let's go to Bowen.
Yeah, kind of agree. 8-0 for them as well. Yeah, kind of agree with the 8-0. There's some potential there I could talk about later, but yeah, I mean, my starting lineup for these guys is Champion, Colossal, Pister, Havoc, Iron, Sov, Mountain, and then it kind of depends if Soul shows or Champion shows all the matches. Then you can swap in CC. Like, there's a lot of potential. Switch Iron to Marine even if you need be. So there's 8-0.
Yeah, math is hard. 10-0. So,
gentlemen, there are double weeks on 1 and 4 for these guys.
I guess he turned hard after watching Fish Tank. You know, I mean, this lineup is pretty easy. It's going to be Champ, Colossal, Sov, Iron Med, Havoc Med, the Mountain, Pister, and if Soul shows, he's in there. Otherwise, it's going to be Rev to fill in. Yeah, I mean, these guys definitely have the best lineup on paper. Anytime you have Sov in the lineup, it's just hard to beat him 1v1, whether he's going to be 18 or if he's relinquishing that to Champion. It'll be interesting. If that's the case, I see Sov actually taking LMG, or maybe the Mountain takes LMG. So it'll be interesting to see that dynamic, which is a scary thought because LMG is still kind of broken, and seeing Sov use that instead of AT might be kind of annoying to play against. But yeah, everybody knows that Champ and Colossal and all these guys are just going to rack up kills.
Yeah, you guys have already said it. I don't want to beat a dead horse on this. This is the best squad, without a doubt. The roster seems pretty set up, especially with some inactive guys. You've got eight consistent showers there for sure, with Revenge subbing in whenever somebody's not there. Leading the squad, Pister and Sav combo like they have in past seasons. I think Pister takes the lead, but Sav is definitely filling in. And then deadliest member of the squad is definitely Sav as well. You just you have a lot of good players here. I don't see a lot of challenge to them. The one question I have is the X factor is Soul. Is how active is he going to be? If Soul's active, the squad only becomes that much better. That's scary. So we'll see how much he shows. But otherwise, hard to find a weak point in this very, very strong roster. Let's go on.
I will say,
go ahead.
I will say, if they have a close match against any of the other top squads, you might see a sleeper recruitment of either Kaga, Nas, or Mecca's return.
I was wondering if there's a filled out roster here. It does seem like there may be a couple spots they still have open for just some fill in players, exactly, and definitely like Kaga's not on the squad right now. Where does he go? That's a legitimate question as to whether or not he ends up here. So, let's move on to good guys. Roster currently is Aerith, Arwen, Dark Chompy, Fairfax, Fausto, Splitta, Mosh, Pandy, Rio, Slob, Smackrock, and The Gift. Kevin, take it away.
So yeah, these guys are back. Bugs, birds, but good guys this time. No fancy little name here. So it's the same crew: Staley, Fax, Rio, TG, Slob. Ernie's probably going to show up. Maybe he was on last night, so look for him to join the team. And then they have the additions of Smackrock and Splitta, which is good to see Smack on a top tier squad. I want to see him get some play time. Splitta hopefully has his little revenge tour. I know we'll be talking about that. I think it's later tonight. I think it's week 1 matchup. But yeah, this is I think the second best meta crew outside of Gentlemen, of course, who has the best. But this season, I really want to watch what Chompy does. Back with TG, looks like he's going to be like a full slated season for TG, and then Rio as the primary killer. So I think Chompy will have his from 2 seasons ago where he actually went off and played really well. But yeah, in the full breakdown, I've got good guys finishing in second, probably dropping both matches to Gentlemen. Can they win? Yes, they can. If they have a really good game, they have a really good roster. Maybe something doesn't show for Pister squad, but I have them right now second place. Good guys.
Kevin, let me ask. You said second best medic roster for good guys. Who do you see as the 2 medics? Because I definitely see Aerith, Fax, and Slob as a possibility. Who do you see as the 2?
Yeah, I think I got Slob and Aerith. Fax has been playing a really good support Marine in the past 2 seasons, and I think he likes it, and I think TG knows he likes it, so I like Slob and Staley.
Okay. Bowen?
Yeah, I actually struggled with a placement on this one because there's some upsets that I feel like that could happen in these top 3 in general. But my starting lineup for these guys is Chompy, Rio, Gift, Slob, Staley, Split, Fausto, and Fax as it stands right now. But we'll see if that sticks. And I'm going to put them at a solid second, but there's some play that could happen there I'll talk about when we get there.
Okay. Eric?
Okay. Yeah, as Kevin said, they're back. Without Ernie for now, it'll be interesting to see if and when Ernie joins. I know he's mentioned that he's going to take a break, so maybe come playoff time he gets the itch to play and help out. But other than that, for the lineup, I've got Rio, Chompy, Slob Medic, Staley Medic, TG, Fax, Fausto, and this last one's a toss-up between Split and Pandy. And I only say that because Pandy has squatted with these guys in the past, so there's that chemistry factor versus Split. But for Pandy, you don't know whether you're going to get 2 and 10 Pandy, playoff Pandy, or Deadliest Marine Pandy.
Or last season Pandy. Jeez.
Yeah. So, and with Rio on the team, you know he's taking LMG. There's no other player that should play LMG. So Pandy back on Marine will be interesting to see if he reins it in a little bit or if he takes a step back. But yeah.
Yeah, my question at the beginning is how active is Rio going to be at the beginning of the season? We've seen in past seasons that he typically doesn't show up until about week 4 or so a lot. So I have a projected starting lineup of Aerith, Chompy, Fausto, Split Up Pandy, The Gift, and then Slob and Fairfax as medics. But I see what Kevin's saying. It could definitely be Aerith and Slob instead. I think that's kind of interchangeable. Um, as far as the big question, as everybody said, is tactical. Is Ernie? Does he join the squad? Seems like he's a natural, like he's the missing component of this Birds crew slash good guys, whatever you want to call them. I do think that Rio, if he's there, things get a lot more interesting about the starting question because you've got Rio, Pandy, Splitta, and if Ernie comes too, then it becomes a real question. This is the one squad. We always have a squad every season we talk about that's like, you guys are a little bit too stacked in terms of choices. And I think it's good guys this season that are in that position. But at the same time, yeah.
Is there any coincidence that it's always a split squad?
That is an interesting point to note. I don't know. I think that the Birds crew get along very easily, and there'll be discussion there about who wants to do it, who wants to sit. I'm sure. Now, whether or not they're satisfied with that discussion is an open question. But if everybody shows, that does become a discussion for sure. I think Rio has got to play. I think Tactical has got to play. Without those two guys in, this roster is not competitive with gentlemen, as you guys have said. And with those guys, they are competitive. So that's where it comes down to. Leading the squad, I think the gift is stepping up to lead this time, but Fausto obviously will be involved as well as he has in the past seasons with this squad. Deadliest member, I think it's Rio, but if Rio's not active, I think it's Chompy. So your X factor to me is Rio and how active he is during the regular season in terms of placement for playoffs. But yeah, this squad is very strong coming into the season already. So
I'm just gonna correct you real quick.
Sure.
It's gonna be Rio helping shot call, not Fausto. Fuck that bum. Rio is going to be active and he's going to show for all the matches that matter. I mean, he's in pub right now.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be there.
Okay. Well, here's hoping he is. I think it's a much better squad with him. And I agree. He's a great shot caller when he's there as well. So let's move on to K's Crew 3. Your roster for KK3 is Abyss, Chica, Daddy, DP, Iceman, Kevin, Mercy, Mike C, Rom, Spartacus, Typhoon, and Uni. Kevin? Break down your squad.
K's Crew 3. So, yeah, this is my squad. Built it. Third rendition of K's Crew 3. First one, a hell out of fun with K's Crew 1. K's Crew 2, very competitive. I wanted to bring it back to the fun. So, I built this squad with great players, good teammates. I had some storytellers, friends. That's what I intended to do this season, you know? I want to be competitive. Don't get me wrong. I want to get some upsets this season. I know a lot of people are thinking this is a bunch of random people all together, but I've played with all these guys at least once. I don't want to get too detailed. I'll let you guys do that on how we're going to play. But from a leadership standpoint, I'm going to probably lean on Manu to do some leading. If he doesn't want to, or if he has stuff going on, I don't mind getting in and leading. I do like to be the shot caller, though, so I can get some kills. Everybody knows whoever's leading tends to drop in kills, and I hate that. But that's what I want to do. I wanted to compete, but have a lot of fun, mostly. SB every night. Realistically, I have us finishing in 4th place, but that doesn't mean we can, get an upset here or there. I still think we can do well. So, yeah, that's K's Crew 3 for you.
Absolutely.
From me.
For sure. Bowen?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on Kevin's squads before. They've always enjoyed being on these squads with you, bro. So, I mean, yeah, it's same concept. I mean, my starting lineup here is Kevin, Mercy, Typhoon, Uni, Manu, Iceman. I think Rom or Chica could pull that med slot to the end, the last one, and Dave. But if Dave shows, that changes things, obviously, but he was pretty active last season, so if he sticks around, then cool. But I have them at 5th just because I have a lot of confidence in Click, obviously, being the co-captain there. But they could go either way, so I look forward to actually those matches, honestly.
Eric?
Yeah, I mean, Kev finally completes the trilogy, unlike Hellboy, unfortunately. For me, the projected lineup I've got is Daddy is, of course, your top tier medic. I expect him, kind of like what Kevin said, to do most of the leading, unless he's cucked by his girlfriend and won't let him talk. The second med is up for debate. It's either Rom, Chico, or if Mercy has to. Mercy, but I want to see Mercy play a killer class. I think he's actually one of your top killers. So Mercy is a Marine, Kevin, Uni, Typhoon, Spartacus, and either Abyss or Iceman. I've seen more of Abyss than I have Iceman, so I would slide him into that last spot.
Yeah, I see that as well. Projected lineup I had as of right out the gate. It is a toss up between Iceman and Abyss. I do think Abyss has been more active, but Kevin, Mercy, Typhoon, Uni, Spartacus with Manu and Chica as meds, leading Kevin with Manu as well. I think it's a good mix between them on Mike. Deadliest member of the squad, I think, is a combo between Kevin and Typhoon. It depends on who's playing at the time of the day. Um, and I would say your X factor is Dave. It's a question of how active is he? Does he get involved? How is he playing if he does get involved? So I do think the best games here, the KK3 and Click games, are going to be fun. Even the KK3 and Monkey Business games are going to be really fun to watch. But it's a question of who shakes out as the starting 8 on the squad. But it should be fun. It already has been fun. So I'm looking forward to the season with this crew. Let's go to Monkey Business. Right now, roster is Exodus, Bonds, Cage, Jaeger, Jaguar, Leak, Ninja, Rogue, Sabotage, Shasta, Samara, Thiz, and Victim. Kevin, what we got?
So yeah, Monkey Business, they're back. Leak, Danny, and the boys. That's what I like to call them, or just Leak and the boys. But yeah, so I know they have a great core of players. I know Leak was looking to solidify their top starters in the off season, and I think he did that with the people he brought in, and just Eric now playing a more active role in the league. I think that's going to help them for sure. And I know their medics weren't that great in the past, but it looks like Sabotage is going to step up as the medic this season. At least that's what I've been seeing in his SBs. Danny last season making Ranger look overpowered. I think you can expect him to play Ranger unless there's some kind of a blowout where it's not working. I know he's changed classes mid game in the past where he'll just plays Marine and just not do well and just switch. But I expect him to play Ranger from the start. I know Eric being there is active. He's going to be vocal. Leak definitely needs somebody vocal. I know it's usually Danny, Leak, Sabo always talking about Eric in there. I think he gives great shot calls. So I got Monkey Business finish around probably third, with the potential of fourth. Obviously, if we can upset them, which is going to be a tall task to happen because it depends on who shows for us. But yeah, I got Monkey Business third place.
Bowen?
Yeah, this is the weird one for me. I think Monkey Business can do some surprising things this season. Some of the guys they brought in fill in some holes that they had, and they have some dangerous slots to them. My top 8 for these guys are Leak, Rogue, Samara, Sabo, Exodus, Ninja, Victim, and Bonds. Hearing Sabo may play medic surprises me because I actually had a problem getting a third slot for not putting another medic in there. So him not playing a killer class would surprise me, but if they switch that up, then cool. But I have them at third, but I do think there's some shenanigans in there where they could do something surprising with good guys and gentlemen. Not saying they will. I think they've been beat up a little bit by good guys in some SBs, but I think these guys come together and the stars align just right, and Ninja and all these 8 guys show up. They could do some scary things.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, Leo fell off the bed and bumped his head. You know, I think we've been one of the more active squads in this off season as being at least twice a week or 2 nights out of the week. We've had Sammy on a lot, which is very promising. If we can get Ninja to show every week, that bodes very well for our placement in this season. When Leak recruited me, I was very surprised to hear that Sabo wanted to med this season. It wasn't like, hey, we're recruiting all these killing classes. Do you mind? It was Sabo volunteered. So he's been stepping up as a medic, playing very well. So our starting lineup is going to be myself, Ninja, Leak, Samara, Axie, Bonds, Sabo, and Shaz. Bonds and Sabo is your meds.
All right, you just got the breakdown on the actual starters there. I think the Sabotage choice for Medic is an interesting one, and I'll just go ahead and say I don't agree with it. I would never. I think Sabotage is with Samara, he's probably your best killer on this roster, and I think it's kind of insane to take him away from that. But, he wants to do what he wants to do, and we're in season 55, so I guess he can do what he wants. Um, but leading the squad, combination of Leak and Axis. Axis is so vocal and such a good player. He's improving every single season, so I think he's kind of my X factor. I say is Cage and Shasta because I think Cage could be the guy that you're not expecting a ton from, who could end up offering a lot, and Shasta depends on how active he is and how he's playing. But I think there's also a third X factor there, you know, which is the question of a Ninja, how does he show up? Exodus, does he continue to perform? You guys could have a really good starting 8. My question is, how does the Sabotage Medic thing play out? Especially when you got, I'm not sure how active he is, but Bonds is sitting there in the wings ready to go. To me, the natural choice is Bonds, Victim as Meds. But, I guess it depends on what you guys want to do. And you're going to run it how you're going to run it. So I definitely think Monkey Business is a very strong squad. I think they can compete with the top tier squads. The question is, can they win a game? And that's to be seen. We have yet to see these guys really in action. So, but if last season is a good indicator, they're only going to improve with the roster changes, as Kevin alluded to in the beginning. So let's move on to a squad we are going to call PHCL because I am not pronouncing that word for this entire season. So PHCL's roster is Bax, Karatank, Emmy, Ava, Ham Sammy, Harry Houdini, Jerry Houdini, sorry, Lofi, MTR3, Stoink, Solid Snake 22, and that dude. Kevin.
Yeah, so PHCL. I'm probably just gonna call them that dude squad from here on out. But yeah, let's give a shout out to that dude for stepping up as a captain this season, bringing his little ragtag crew with him. But they've got 2 brand new players, 0 games under their belt. I think they're bug hunt players from what I've seen, but definitely good potential for Cave Beast Award. We'll see how they do in Ham Sammy and EME or Emmy. But kill wise, I expect MTR3 and Jerry, unless Jerry's medding. We'll see who does what. I know MTR3 loves to Grenader. I think he'll play a big role in getting kills. Realistically, I see these guys finishing in last place, obviously. I don't know who's going to be leading. I don't know where else the firepower may come from. I just think the real win for these guys will be sticking it out this season and, just having a fun season. Yeah. That's it for them.
Bowen?
So throw in there, EME is Mites.
Okay.
He's, So
Hydro Troll.
Yeah, Hydro Troll. Just being Mites. But the starting lineup I have for these guys, Bax, MTR, Solid Snake, TD, Jerry, Mites, CT, and Stoink. The second medic role, obviously the first medic role goes to lost it. Well, I mean, you could flip around it in meds a little bit, honestly. I kind of want to see MTR med a little bit. His positioning on killer classes can be fine, and he can kill, but I think he's a little bit out of position more times than not. He just makes some rough decisions from time to time. But I would like to see him on med. He is a solid medic, and just slot one in there somewhere. TD needs to rip or something. I think TD on Ripper is actually a solid play. But there's a lot of options. I do think they finished last as well, but we'll see how everything goes.
So you take TD as Ripper over MTR3 at Nader? That's your thought?
Yes.
Okay. Eric, what do you think?
I'm gonna start by saying this is probably the most volatile voice chat created.
Absolutely.
You have Mites, you have CT. Bax is fine on voice, but then you probably add Oct at some point, who's gonna rejoin, and then you have Eva as well. That just sounds like a headache. I will say that I fully expect that dude to rip and MTR to nade. I think you're gonna have Jerry and Eva or Ham Sammy as your second med. And then Might, Solid Snake, CT, Bax. They're gonna be doing a lot of camping. They're gonna have the Ripper, they're gonna have the Nader, and they're gonna have Bax sniping. And that's honestly the correct play for them.
Yeah.
They should not be pushing anybody, even when down, and especially with all those classes.
Let me ask you guys. I know this may be a mailbag question ahead of time, sort of, but we've got, as you said, volatile voice chat, a lot of personalities that could spark up in conflict quick. If there's a person that you think peels out of here, who do you think is the most likely?
Fights.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they love it though. I think they love the back and forth, and they may be yelling, but it sometimes it's good for them,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but Mites will randomly just disappear. Like he just does stuff sometimes. Like I don't,
he does kind of go off,
I
doesn't
don't know.
he?
Yeah, he'll randomly just go off on a fucking tangent, and just drop. Like
I mean, we didn't even mention Carrot Tank. It's wild that you list the entire
we call that
squad.
bipolar disorder.
It's interesting you list the entire squad, and Carrot Tank doesn't even get more than a breath of mention. Like there are some interesting people on the squad. All right, yeah. I think starting lineup. I agree with what everybody said. I think Solid Snake 22 is a guaranteed starter on this team, and maybe somebody that got short shrift in our conversation here. He's played well in past seasons, or been a consistent performer. I'll say that. Also, Stoink. Stoink is with this crew, and Stoink is a slayer. Now he is a put his nose down, don't look up at any kind of positioning kind of situation, but he can kill. He can absolutely kill. So, if Stoink can improve his game, who knows? This team only has upsides. So, let's see here. Let's go now to the power rankings. Let's go around the table with each panelist listing the teams in rank order 1 through 6. Again, we'll take the votes from all the participants on the panel, average them together, although I don't know that there's going to be much disagreement. Those will result in the power ranking positions for each squad in season 55. Kevin, if you don't mind giving me your 5 in order.
Yeah, so first place, I have Gentlemen, stacked squad. Second place, I have Good Guys, also stacked. Third place, I have Monkey Business, love those guys. Fourth place, I have my team, Case Crew 3. Fifth place, Click, great group of guys there too. And then sixth place, That Dude Squad, new guys.
All right. Bowen?
Yeah, so first place, Gentlemen. Second place, Good Guys. Third place, Monkey Business. Fourth place, I got Click. Fifth place, I got KK3. And then sixth place, I got PHCL.
Eric?
First place, I've got Gentlemen. Second place, I've got Good Guys. Third place, I've got Monkey Business. Fourth, I have K's Crew. And I know that's going to be a toss-up, and I look forward to their games. I just think they have a little bit more stout leadership than the fifth place in Click, and Phenylephrine is the sixth place.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Kevin and Eric are exactly where I'm at, just to run through that. Gentlemen, Good Guys, Monkey Business, K's Crew 3, Click, PHCL. So I think Bowen is the only one that goes a little bit different with the Click and KK3 swap, which is not an invalid opinion at all. Well, on paper, we'll see. It's one thing, in a game is a different thing, and I think those games are going to be much watch games for sure. So, all right, so our power rankings will be exactly that. Gentlemen first, Good Guys second, Monkey Business third, K's Crew 3 fourth, Click is fifth, and PHCL for sixth. All right, let's talk about first week matchups. As we talked about earlier, your first week games will be held on Twin Fields. So with that in mind, let's talk about our first game, which is going to be Good Guys taking on PHCL. Let's kick it off with Kevin.
Yep. So this looks like this week is the normal slaughter, a good game. But we'll talk about that good game in a little bit, I'm sure. But yeah, Good Guys gonna win against That Dude Squad. Just hope everybody shows up for That Dude Squad, so they actually have 8. But yeah, just Good Guys in a blowout. I'm gonna go 60 kill win. Quick and easy.
Bowen?
Good Guys. I'm gonna say 110 to 25. It's gonna be a bit of a slaughter. Rough game for them to start, but should be fun.
Yeah, definitely Definitely a slaughter. I hope that whoever's leading for phenylephrine can slow it down, but Good Guys is very good at spreading out and finding out where you're at, and then just isolating you, um, or surrounding you rather, as you try and push out of your base or wherever you try to go. So I'm gonna say like, yeah, especially on Twin Fields, which is a pretty quick pace map. Um, I'm gonna say roughly 110 to probably 15 or 20.
I'm right there with Eric. I think that's exactly the right score. I think the disorganization of PHCL, they're going to try to figure some things out in this first week. Unfortunately, you drew a rough opponent to be figuring things out against. Good Guys is going to lay it on them. I think they may even be nice and it won't matter. Because Good Guys are going to win this thing by maybe 100. I definitely see that score line. So let's move on to game 2. Good luck to PHCL, though. That's a rough draw in week 1. The game 2 is Gentlemen versus KK3. Kevin?
Yeah, speaking of rough draws, we get Gentlemen and then we get Gentlemen and Good Guys back-to-back weeks. That should be good. Yeah, so it's they're really good. We're relatively new. We haven't SB that much. So Gentlemen's gonna win this game. I do want to keep it close. I do have some things in mind that we're gonna run. I do have some strategies on how to do some things, but I'm not going to obviously give that away here because Pister's here listening and he's recording every word I'm saying. So, yeah, with that being said, Gentleman's going to win. I'm not going to give a score. This is my squad. That's all I got. Gentleman will win.
All right, Bowen?
Yeah, that is a rough pair of draws for you. Holy hell. And I did it randomly, my bad. But
you did it.
So
you did it to us.
You get a redraw.
I'm gonna say a score of 80 to 30. I do think you can keep this below 100. You guys have the skill and the place, the calling to keep that down, but it's a rough start.
Yeah, especially if gentlemen get a clean sweep. Like I said, on Twin Fields, it's a quick pace map, but there's really no cover once you try and leave your base. So after that first fight, they're just gonna especially if they win it clean, they're gonna push straight to your base. So hopefully you guys can find a way to slow it down. But I do see this being, yeah, probably roughly, I would say 80 to 20, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. Again, it is a rough draw. I'm curious to see if Champion shows up week 1 without him. I think Revenge in the lineup gives us a better chance at keeping that score low. I still think it's a gentleman win, though, no matter what. So, yeah, gentlemen by probably 80-30 is a good number. Let's go to the game of the week, probably. Good Guys versus Gentlemen. Not probably, definitely.
No, yeah, 100% game of the week, starting it off week 1. Love to see that. Good Guys versus Gentlemen. We get what is it? A rematch of last season's finals.
Yeah.
I do see Gentlemen winning this one, as I predicted in my breakdown earlier. Can Good Guys win? Absolutely. But I think Pister and the boys have been on every night, either SBing or NTing. I know Mountain's on every night. Salve's been logging in every night. Iron's back from whatever vacation he was on. So I'll keep this short and sweet, even though it is the match of the week. I'll let you guys break it down a little more. But I got Gentlemen winning by 12, but it's going to be close all the way through.
Yeah, I think that's solid. I do agree. Gentlemen win this. Let's say it's a faster pace mouse. I'm going to say 50 to 35. As you mentioned, the Good Guys haven't really been SBing. They just, I think the first time I saw them SB was last night. I might have done some other ones, but it's the first time I saw them. And Gentlemen have been extremely active as they usually are. So it's kind of it's a good game of the week, but I kind of wish it would have happened later. We'll see how it goes in week 5, right? So
my only question for this is, depending on the or the time of the match, will Chris be able to show? Because I know he does his WoW raids on Sunday nights. So if Chris can't show and Soul doesn't show, they have to play Dilatory and Revenge maybe, and have Havoc switch to Marine and let Dilatory med. I can see a possible upset. But as you guys have already said, Gentlemen have been very, very active, as being almost every night, or NTing for other squads every night. So I think it's going to be a little bit more than a 12 kill differential just because of the last like minute push that good guys might have to do, and just kind of give them some more kills over in that. So I do kind of agree with Bowen's score. I'll keep it around like 50, yeah, 50-30, about a 20 kill differential just because of that last minute push.
Eric, do you see gentlemen picking up somebody before Sunday?
I kind of said it when we were going through the squad breakdowns. You still have Kog out there. You still have Nas Keeper, who, if Sov can get a hold of him, he'll show up. And if Mecha can randomly log in from wherever he's at, they could possibly grab him.
Okay. It's just a question of if that happens before Sunday. I think what you said is pretty significant in terms of champion not being there. Dilatory and Revenge being in the lineup changes my view of this a lot. If that happens, good guys can win this in a week 1 game. For sure they can. But if Champion's in that roster, if any of the guys you just mentioned in that roster, I do not see it happening. So this is a potential for I agree. I think Bowen's probably right in a 50-35 call the way we see it happening. But if those guys aren't there and they have to play Dilla and Revenge, not saying they're bad players, but just good guys as a tough opponent. If that happens, I think it could switch and it could be good guys winning this 50-40. I think it's game of the week for a lot of those reasons we've already laid out. Let's go to our final game, which is Monkey Business versus Click. Kevin?
Yeah, so I think this is Click's best opportunity to pull off an upset. Just being that it's week 1, usually week 1 has a lot of hype around it. You're going to show all your guys, and in this match specifically, I think first battle is going to be huge. Because if Click can pull off a first battle win, I know that Molo has some great leading that I've seen recently in SBs, where he can move his guys around the map to where they can hide their vision, get a good ambush going, and then get some kills. Now, with that being said, Splitta, I think Monkey Business will take care of business, quote unquote, with Leak Danny and the boys, as I like to call them, taking care of business. I said that like 5 times already. But I see Monkey Business pulling off the victory. I don't see it being that close. However, if Click somehow gets that first battle, it will be close. So I think Leak should keep that in mind, where don't lose that first battle, because if you do, it's going to be a close match. But I got Monkey Business winning by 30 in this one.
Bowen?
I think that's a pretty fair assessment. We've SB'd them a lot. They've gone decent in some cases, some they have not. So it's a tough squad to play against. Again, these guys were ones that I thought could upset some top tiers. So I don't really want to give too much of the score. I do think we could try to keep this close. At the very least, it's going to be Stars would have to align pretty well for us to win the whole thing, especially against this squad. But it's not impossible. So we'll see how it goes. But I would give the win to Monkey Business on paper for sure.
All I'm saying is I hope Cannibal shows up so I have my marked target. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a suicide for Bowen, and it's not gonna be as fun.
I'll fight you.
But no, I think what Kevin said is correct. We ran into it a lot, as Bowen was saying. We've SB'd these guys. They've been our dancing partner essentially all off season. So we've become accustomed to a lot of the ambush style plays that Molo likes to do, a lot of the hiding of the vision. So look for us to run some solos to get that vision, figure out where they're at. I think the first 15 minutes will be slow because of that, and then it'll ramp up. I do see it being roughly like 60 to 70 kills in our favor to 25 to 30 for them, giving us the win.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of those games that's like a tale of two halves. I think the first 15 minutes is going to be a Molo strategy where he tries to keep the score low, win a few battles here and there. But overall, I just see it. The firepower just favors Monkey Business hugely as far as that I see. And so I think at about 15-minute mark, you're going to see MB take off a little bit. I don't think it's going to end up being as close as some of you guys have said. I think it's more like 65-30 in favor of Monkey Business. And I just maybe Quick will improve as the season goes on. But I think MB, in terms of the roster, in terms of just talent coming out on the field, everybody's going to be trying to figure out what to do. But I think MB enters the game with a pretty star-studded roster in that top 8. And I think they're going to play that top 8 in this first week 1 game. So I think MB lays it on them, but I don't think Quick should be discouraged. I think they should use it as a learning opportunity and move on from there. So that'll be our first week 1 games. Finally, we've got some mailbag questions, I think, sent in. I've got a few. I think, Eric, you've got a few as well. Bowen, you got a couple as well. Is that right?
Yep, I got 3.
Okay. All right. Well, Bowen, let's go ahead and start with yours.
Sure. So one question came in. How do you think the panel? How do you panel think that Foster was doing his admin? Are you satisfied with his performance?
Who the hell asked that?
I think he's a lazy piece of shit.
I think he's doing fine.
I think I'm happy to have somebody who's willing to do it. That's what I think.
I've always had this criticism of him, though. I do not like the waiting until last minute to kind of get shit done, and that has been a Fosso thing for the last few seasons. Albeit, like, it took a while for squads to form this offseason.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I kind of get it in an aspect, but there were definitely certain things we could have had done already and made the last 72 hours much easier.
Less stressful, for sure. But I agree with what you're saying that not knowing how many squads you're going to have, having so much fluctuation, and look at the log changes for the past 2 weeks. For the love of God, I think that's made it a little bit tough as to what to do. But I think we could get started earlier. But I will say, the last 72 hours, he's been very active, and I super appreciate that activity, especially with a newborn. That's a crazy dedication. So, yeah, I don't have much more to say about that one unless anybody else does. Bowen, next question.
Oh, think he's doing great. Next question. This is kind of a fun one. So, would you rather have a one-on-one dinner with Eva, Bax, Oct, or CT?
Eva, Bax, Oct, or CT? Would I rather have a dinner with one of them? Is the question? Hands down.
Which one would you rather have dinner with?
Oh, hands down, Bax. I'll take Bax in a heartbeat. And there's zero chance that one of those 4 would ever be in the same room with me. So.
I've already had dinner with one of those. It was interesting.
So, yeah, speak from experience here, Ken.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
He put ketchup on steak, right?
I had a dinner with one of them. That's all I want to say. I'll say CT because I've had a dinner with one of them already. Well, I'll say CT.
I didn't even consider that. Oh God, yeah, I kind of agree with the Bax, honestly. Last question, and this was just kind of a random to you guys. So your top 3 for each class: Marine, Med, and it says LMG or other. I would say maybe class those together because there's not a lot of LMGs. So maybe Marine, Med, and support.
Medic, Iron. I think we can all agree on that. Marine. It's tough to say because a lot of the good Marines are playing support right now. Like Champion is mostly support. But I'll give TG because TG's always been Marine, and then I'll go Rio as the LMG/support.
Med, Iron, Marine. I'll say Colossal. He's also really only played Marine. And then for support, if Sov was 18, like I think Chris is going to be 18, I'd say Sov, but I don't know what class. I'll still say Sov for support. Whether it's AT or LMG, I think he's going to play just fine. Otherwise, it's Rio if Sov's Marine.
Yeah, I would say Iron at Medic, as everybody said. I think I'd probably take Mecha at Marine. Sov is obviously who I go with the 3rd slot, but I'd like to do some honorable mentions for Rio at LMG and Samara at Ranger. Yep. Any
Yeah, I don't
others?
have a lot to add to that, honestly. Good calls. That's my last question.
Okay. Eric, let's knock yours out.
All right. I see him in here. Splitta, no, these are not my questions. I am just reading verbatim what was sent to me, so don't come for me, my guy. First one, I will just get out right the way. Does Splitta start on GG?
I'm gonna say yeah. He's active. He's always on. At least now he's always on, and he's back from his little hiatus. So I say yes.
And they have an activity
got him
problem
starting.
over there. So I definitely think he feels a need they have right now. Also, I think law snipes for a team like Good Guys are a real are something they are going to need and want, and I think he brings that in spades.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he's a
mean, like I
must-start
said in
pick.
my breakdown, yeah, like I said in the breakdown, I thought it was a toss-up between him and Pandy. I still don't like the inconsistency of Pandy, so I think Splitta takes that spot unless they recruit Ernie, and then it becomes a what if. Next question, follow up. I'm just gonna rifle right into it. How does Split mesh with that core, and is it possible? Is that the possible reason that he gets benched? Kind of same thing we just kind of talked about.
In terms of his
Yeah,
meshing the
same
problem?
thing.
Yeah, like does his play style fit with them? Are they going to go with people that are, I guess, kind of that core, people
Yeah.
that they've played with over him?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. It's super veteran team. They know what they're doing, so he doesn't have to do much. To be honest, he just has to go in there and kill.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be fine.
I completely agree.
Okay.
He's
I
not
think
being relied
if
on.
they do sit him,
for a
that would
lot.
be right. Yeah, and I do think if they do sit him, that would be the reason why, was because they do have their core group that they kind of had for Warhawks, right? So it's it depends on how they feel about that, but I don't think they sit him.
And we've seen
Yeah.
Splitta have those really big games out of nowhere where he'll end up in the top 3. If he has one of those kind of games on Good Guys, like that could be the difference in a big win. A big win. So as a 6-man, he's a great 6-man for them.
He's out for blood this season. We've seen the call outs in Spec Chat that Pister still hasn't answered. Some say he's ratting away.
We get to see it week 1 too.
Yeah, we do get to
week
see it
1.
week
The
1.
revenge tour starts.
All right. Do you anticipate any surprise award winners this season?
I think Cave Beast is going to be up in question for sure. So I think there'll probably be a surprise there. Other than that,
I think if, and again, this is a big what if, but if Ninja shows to every game, you mentioned Sabo's the deadliest killer on Monkey Boys. No, Ninja is another beast if he's fully active and shows the entire season. I think if he's that active, I think he could steal deadliest.
I don't think that's invalid, honestly.
I love Ninja. I will say that at the end of the season, last season, I thought he played terribly. That's just my personal opinion. I think Sabo is more consistent generally, but I do think it's interesting that with Gentlemen being such a strong squad, we know what Iron and Havoc are going to do, so it opens up the vision for other medics outside of them to really have an excellent season and be noticed. And so I think you have a number of people on that list, whether it be Manu or Abath or Victim. You have a lot of guys there that could take the medic award for sure. And I think that Iron would be the natural inclination, being on the winning squad, who's probably going to win the championship. But I think that there's a room and a place for a possible upset there with another person.
And then,
Yeah, I don't see much remedy from anything really. But just KB should be fun. I think that's the one that we'll look out for.
all right. And then my last question is, what would you like to see in a theoretical Infantry 2 that Exodus is currently working on?
I've said this a couple times, and just to put it on a show, I know this is crazy. I would like to see where there is no more top or bottom in terms of like the orientation of you're looking at the map. I would like the map to
So
adjust with
continuous
you.
left to right.
Yeah, left or right always. And like like I would like the map to rotate with you so that you're always at the bottom of your screen looking up. That would be, I think that'd be really cool in terms of orientation, and it would take you would stop screaming about disadvantage on duels, etc. It would always be the same look for every person, which I think could be hugely advantageous to changing the way we kind of play this.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the test imaging. I think the bullet tracings definitely need some work. I really don't think if we're looking to kind of tweak it a little bit, but keep it infantry. There's not a whole lot more other than updating the graphics that you really need to do, in my opinion. I do really like that rotation idea though.
Yeah, and the chat is talking about this an isometric top-down shooter. I don't think you lose the fact that it's an isometric top-down shooter. You just have a permanent viewing angle that adjusts with you in my idea. But otherwise, I think the mechanics of the game are really sound still. I think there's still a huge, like, if the new generations knew that this game existed, I still think there'd be a draw for it. But it's gonna have to have that big graphics update. That's the key to the whole thing, is the big graphics update.
I'm a nerd and I want to see more automation and commands for like administrations and refs and stuff like that. So that'd just be fun for me.
I mean, it's pretty damn close to just reffing itself. In all honesty, you just gotta have eyes on it.
Axis says the mechanics would be preserved, Newtonian physics, massive battles, weapon variety, etc. Graphics update would be the main focus. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I think a graphics update would be, I mean, all of us would be very satisfied with that, even if you gave us the exact same game with the new graphics. But I think if you had new graphics, you could get the allure of new players as well.
You know, the draw for a lot of other games too is customization, right?
Yeah.
You don't really get to customize your infantry character. So whether it be whatever class you play, being able to customize your character a little bit, I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be sick.
It'd be kind of cool if you had like some games you have a choice of 3 different weapons or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. If like I don't know how that would work functionally, but like if you had 3 different styles of like a battle rifle versus a assault rifle versus a DMR or something as a starting. I don't know.
I wouldn't change the guns.
The mechanic,
because each
it's a core mechanic.
Because I would just say the infantry character skin itself.
Just the sprite colors. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. Customization is where you draw people in and getting rewards for things. That'd be kind of cool to have like your champions get a champion skin. That'd be cool. Anyway, any other questions, Eric?
Nope, that was my last one.
Okay, I've got 2 here. Will the Birds, Bugs, Good Guys crew fare better or worse with TG back to leading over Fausto this season?
Better. Next.
I think the good thing about Fausto leading is it frees up TG to slay. And Gift can be a killer for sure.
Yes, Queen, slay.
But at the same time, I think that TG is a little more patient. I think he has a very clear leading style that is like a hold positions and let the other team mess up first. And I think that style is a championship winning style, quite frankly. So I think that'll improve. The question is, will the rest of the guys be ready to adopt with him? If tactical is there, yes, they will. Without, we get into questions of, will there be people who will mess up? Will split up, open up the gap too big, that kind of thing. And those are questions that have to be solved week 1.
I mean, TG is the last guy to beat Sov, so you always got to think about that.
Sure.
All right. Are gentlemen better than do the do? Yeah, let me just take this in a 3-part question here. This is a Kaga question he posted in public chat, so doxing him on that. But are gentlemen better than do the do? Let's start with that question.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's tough to. I don't know what that even entails. Is gentlemen better than do the do?
I'll say no from the perspective of do the do had more depth.
Right.
Yeah, I think so too. They could add the depth though, and if they added people like Kaga, the depth could be better than even what they had. I think.
Very true.
But
Agreed.
let's see here. Are good guys better than bugs?
No,
I don't
not
think
without
so.
Ernie on that roster.
No, I don't think without.
Yeah,
Ernie
not
at all.
yet. No.
And then the last one is monkey business better than care package?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
For sure. When you drop me and pick up some better players,
That's
yeah,
not-
you made a good choice. You made a good choice. All right. Well, any other questions, or are we done there? Looks like we're wrapped up on mailbag. Okay. Well, that'll do it for the panel today. Just a reminder, it is not too late to sign up for Season 55. If you would like to sign up to review rosters, match statistics, or other league information, go to uslzone.com. If you made it this far in the podcast and aren't a regular player of Infantry, there are a host of game modes to enjoy, and we would encourage you to give this game a try. It's available right now on Steam by searching Free Infantry or download and play at freeinfantry.com. Thank you to our executive producer, as always, Military Police. Thank you to my co-hosts for today. We had Kevin, Bowen, and Eric. This has been Romulocks, and you've been listening to the Season 55 preview show on USL Live.